Imagine living in a house for barely a week, and discovering that your next-door neighbor has been secretly siphoning your water for years. Imagine realizing your bills were rising because a stranger felt entitled to your resources. Now imagine quietly flipping a single valve, just one, and triggering a chain reaction that burns out every fuse in that man's home, drives out his tenants, costs him thousands, and forces him to move out of the neighborhood entirely. This isn't fiction. This is exactly what happened. And the best part? He brought every second of it onto himself. If you've ever been disrespected, underestimated, or treated like your boundaries don't matter, hit that like button right now. Because today's story is one of the coldest, smartest, and most devastating revenge acts you'll ever hear, and it all started with a trickle of water that wasn't supposed to be missing. The protagonist, let's call him Armin, had just purchased a new house in the capital city. It was a fixer-upper, yes, but it was also a rare bargain. The previous owners were family friends who had left the country years ago, abandoning the house mid-renovation. Door half installed. No gate. Just a padlock hanging like a lonely tooth. From the outside, the house looked empty. Forgotten. Abandoned. And the neighborhood treated it that way. On his first day living there, Armin found a stranger's motorcycle parked inside his own garage like it was public property. No shame. No hesitation. No permission asked. He quietly moved the bike out to the street, and by evening, a furious man was banging on his newly installed gate, rattling it like a cage. Armin watched from the window as the stranger yelled, cursed, and eventually rode away. It was Armin's first warning sign. But not the last. Once he put up a bold no parking sign, the neighborhood mostly backed off. No more random vehicles blocked his gate. No suspicious visitors poking around. For a while. Things finally felt normal. Until the water pressure changed. The first clue. One quiet evening, Armin stepped into the shower expecting the usual strong stream of water. Instead, the pressure felt weak. Off. Wrong. He tilted his head, listening. Outside, beyond his bathroom window, he could hear the low mechanical hum of a water pump. Not his. His next-door neighbor's. This neighbor, an old man with a permanently sour expression, already had a reputation for being territorial and entitled. And according to the previous owners, he hated the idea of the house being sold to someone new. He lived on the ground floor of a 3-story building. The 2 upper floors were rented out to tenants, which meant the old man needed a strong water pump to send water to tanks on the roof. But the timing, the coincidence, it gnawed at Armin. The moment the neighbor's pump switched on, his pressure dropped. The moment it stopped, pressure returned to normal. That was not normal. That was not coincidence. That was theft. Not just theft. Premeditated theft. Because while the house was abandoned for years, water bills kept rising. Everyone blamed leaks. Everyone thought it was harmless. But Armin's instincts, sharpened by the strange things he'd seen in the neighborhood, whispered a darker truth. The old man had been sneaking onto the property, tapping into water lines, using the house as his personal reservoir, and he likely thought the new owner would never notice. The quiet rage. Now, water in Armin's country was cheap. $5 a month cheap. It wasn't about the cost. This was about principle. About boundaries. About the audacity of someone believing they were entitled to steal from him without fear, without guilt, without consequence. Armin sat with the anger for days. Not loud. Not explosive. Just simmering. Should he confront the old man? Should he go to the police? Should he let it go?